What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the stream. Hope you guys had a great day since I've last seen you guys. Let's get straight into things here, all right? Still feeling not tip-top, but much better. You guys might be able to tell in my voice. So yeah, let's get straight into things here, all right? Yesterday, we were looking at USD JPY. I will head back over there. We'll make our way. Starting over here on USD CAD, though, because I was also looking at this one as well. So, caught a couple nice trades coming down here with the signals group. Since then, ended up being patient, waiting for this to pull back. It's continued to do so throughout the day. And what I'd be looking for here, I still don't have a buy setup, so that would either take some time to develop or, well, let me actually backtrack a little bit. Multiple possible buying opportunities. I'm not trying to think about how I should say it. But buys are not really the go-to here. I think that would take more time to develop, regardless of which kind of setup I take for that. One option would be if we do see resistance all the way up here break, then I can start looking for some buys, but that is ways away. Or it could carry on down, make this move for the sell possibly, and set up for a buy along the way, you know? That would pretty much just be either, pretty much for the buys to simplify, really I'm only looking for buys above here, or if a new buy setup develops, right? Which we don't know how that would play out yet, but that's why we keep revisiting it, right? We'll check back up on it tomorrow. And so on and so forth, right? But for now, only looking for buys above here if we're talking buys, and then I'll get into the sell in a second, all right? Otherwise, we'd need some other sort of setup to develop. Now, for the sells, which is more so what I'd be looking for right now, pretty much what I've been looking for is this pullback where I would then look for the sell coming down once we see that clean rejection at some resistance. Over here, we do see it begin to reject a little bit, but obviously it has carried on a little bit up since there. So we don't have a clear rejection yet. We could see that happen up in this area. We got some resistance. So pretty much the move here on USD CAD would just be to be patient a little bit. And we could start to see this set up, you know, in the next little while, hopefully. But then again, it could also take its time. So the best I could do is just be patient with it. And, you know, when the time comes, then it comes. Moving forward, I'll go over to gold. All right. Chat, as always, if you have any pairs or anything you want me to pull up, if you have any questions, throw them down in the chat. And yeah, all right. Gold, did I mark this up yesterday? Oh, I see. I confused myself for a second. So what I marked up, where was it yesterday? Okay, so it was around up in this area yesterday when I was live. So what I marked up here was for me to look for a sell. I told you guys I wasn't really interested in trading this here on the small account challenge because of the risk. But I was looking for a possible sell if we did see it pull back and retest towards some higher resistance. Like I said, I wasn't too interested in this, and it did end up just carrying on down. So it made the sell move. Didn't end up wanting to go for that deeper pullback beforehand. Doesn't really affect me. I wasn't actively watching this. I kind of just broke it down, and that's what I was looking for if I wanted to trade. So that was the deal. I would have needed a break above here for possible buys, or I would have wanted that pullback towards resistance and that rejection before the sell. And yeah, it just carried on down. All right. For now, what I'd be looking at, I mean, it's pushing on down. I'm still looking at sells. It could do its thing up in here a little bit, and it's moving a bit sideways at the moment. It could pull back up a little bit, or maybe it doesn't really make too significant of a pullback and then could come down. That's pretty much what I'd be looking for here. That's not to say that it couldn't just carry on up, but I'm not looking to trade that, right? So I would want to see, you know, a minor pullback of some sort, a nice rejection. That's either where I would start looking for sells or after it were to break even lower, all right? I'm not really invested in the setup. I definitely won't be trading it on this account. Yeah, all right. Sorry, chat, one sec. All right, chat. Where was I? Yeah, so that's gold. Probably not going to be keeping an eye on it too much here on the stream because I'm not going to be trading it here for the challenge. But yeah, I mean, it's not also like one of my, you know, go-to setups. Like this is an entry opportunity that could present what I just broke down, but that's not like a primary setup that I'd be actually targeting to trade, regardless of the account that I'm trading on. All right. UJ here, looking good. This one I could actually end up in another trade. pretty much, it's been moving sideways throughout the day here. It has made a couple solid moves. We are, what I marked up yesterday is still what I'm looking for here, where we get this bit of a pullback, which it's kind of done a couple times since. And then I'm looking to catch that sell carrying on down, with this being my target, all right? This is looking pretty good. I'm in a position with this on a different account already. We'll see how that plays out. I'm not going to just throw another one down on this account just yet, because I'm already in one. It doesn't really make sense. Yes, I am looking for sells, and I'm already in a sell. But that doesn't mean I should just jump right in because I already am in one, meaning I already think it's good, right? Timing is also very crucial, right? So the best I can do here is, if I am looking for another position on UJ, I would want to do my best to time that right. So here, after seeing multiple pullbacks towards some resistance down here, I think what I have marked up here is some resistance as well. It's more of a zone, and this is going to be kind of up higher. Down here is, we are seeing some solid rejections at resistance, but it's more of a bit more minor of a level, or I guess you can consider it more of like the lower end of this kind of zone here, but doesn't really make too much of a difference for the point I'm trying to make. Either way, we've seen a couple rejections here. It's at the top, right by this resistance where it's been rejecting. Now, that could be good for when you're trying to sell because you're right near that level. But at the same time, since it's right there, we don't have that strong of confirmation here that it's ready to make this move, right? I still like the setup. It made a 60 pip move while I was in. It was a nice move, but pulled back and corrected right after. But while doing that, it's still remaining clean. So I'm still wanting to hold my trade, but I'm not ready to jump right in. I think I could wait it out for a better time, right? And for that, I would either want to see it maybe pull back up once again. I don't prefer that. Like I said, I'm in a sell, right? So if it pulls up, then that's pulling back against my existing trade. But that's okay, right? If I'm looking for a new entry, it would probably have to be after that kind of pullback, or after we see that this resistance is held up and we're starting to see it actually break down, all right? In that case, it could look a little bit different how I would enter. It depends on how things play out, I guess, right? Probably wouldn't be jumping right in off a candle like this. I'm on the hour time frame. We've got hour closure in about 10 minutes, so we'll see how this closes. Let me zoom in a little bit, actually. Yeah. All right, so we'll see how this closes in about 10 minutes. And yeah, we'll see. That could give me a better chance of having another entry opportunity. But who knows, right? This could just carry on up, in which case, wouldn't want to hop in a new sell, and I could want to manage my other trade, maybe cut losses or whatever it's going to do, right? But that being said, yes, we do have resistance here, and we are seeing these rejections. But it can still carry on up, and I'll still be in my trade. Like, that's not going to take me out. My stop loss isn't right above this resistance. So that's fine. And I had another point, but I forgot it while I was trying to say that. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that we do have stronger resistance up a little bit higher. First of all, it is going to be more of this kind of zone here, right? So I have it marked up a little bit higher. But we do have some really strong resistance kind of all up in this area. Sorry, my mouse is glitching out. Yeah, we do have some strong resistance all up in this area here. So it pulling back on up doesn't mean we're getting a breakout coming on up. It could lead to that, right? Anything can happen, but that's not an indication of that right away. We still would need to be patient for that. And yeah, I mean, if we do generally get a breakout coming up above, I would say probably a little bit higher, like here is where I start looking for buys above. But that's quite a little bit away, right? That's over 50 pips from here. It could make that move, but it's not going to happen too quickly. And the sell setup is pretty clean still, in my opinion, right? We need to see how this is going to develop. It has made the move a couple times coming down, but it has corrected up. So we'll see if it's ready to eventually make that bigger move coming down, all right? Moving on over. Euro JPY. Chat, if you guys have any pairs, let me know. I'd be happy to pull them up. Same kind of setup here on Euro JPY that I have on UJ. I'm not going to go too deep into it, right? We get that strong breakout. It's kind of doing its thing, moving a bit sideways. Pretty much mainly targeting these sells where I'd be looking for the sell to carry on down towards some lower support. But that doesn't mean it couldn't pull back up higher. That's always a possibility here. So I'm not rushing into this. I'd probably rather see it pull back first and then, give me a nice solid rejection up a little bit higher before I look for the entry, or start to actually break down a little bit more significantly and give us some solid closure and a real breakout. All right. That's Euro JPY. Not really looking for the buys today, at least. Chat, you guys are quiet tonight. How's everybody doing? CAD JPY here. Could have looked for some buys above here if we got a clean break and retest type setup. We didn't get that, so that went invalid. If it does give us that kind of setup above this level, then at that point I could enter those buys, but that's kind of irrelevant at the moment, so I'll get rid of that for now. Same kind of thing here on CAD JPY. I mean, I told you guys, right? These are going to move quite a little bit similar. So made the big breakout, kind of pulled back a little bit, and it's moving a little bit sideways, ups and downs, kind of ranging here a little bit. And I'd be looking for a sell. If we can get a bigger pullback, that'd be cool. Or it could start to make this sell, you know, sooner than later, coming down from here. So I really want to wait this out a little bit because I don't have that confirmation yet, whether it's going to be ready to make this move or maybe it's going to carry on up, right? We don't have that confirmation, so we need to be patient and wait on it. All right. Chat, let me know if you guys have any others. Euro USD. All right. This setup got nice sells over here, was targeting a little bit lower. I don't remember exactly where at this point. It was a couple weeks ago now. Since then, it's moved, you know, it's made its ups and downs here. Hasn't really given me a great opportunity for an entry. Nothing while I was actively like ready to trade it. Here it did come down as I was looking to trade, but I ended up trading something else at the time. And then once we got a breakout back above this level, I was looking for possible buys. We got a clean rejection down here at support, which didn't really happen. I mean, there are rejections, but not in the sense that I'd be ready for an entry. This could have been an entry opportunity, and it would have made a move. Right, we get that break, and we get that retest, and it does make a nice move. But I didn't trade that. And yeah, I mean, that's solid, but it wasn't too crazy of a move. Like, wouldn't have hit my final target on... Actually, it depends, right? I could have targeted a bit higher on this if I wanted to, but also could have targeted a little bit lower at some lower resistance, which technically probably still would have gotten missed by a little bit, but it made a decent move. I'm not going to take that away from this move. I didn't trade this, by the way, but yeah, I was looking for buys if we saw something like that. Back here and over here, right? So once we saw, this happened this week, I believe, right? Where the market opened, pulled back, started to reject here at support, didn't end up making this move and has now rebroken below, right? So the setup now would really be sells that I'd be looking for. Don't really love the setup. It's not bad. I mean, I think we could see this move happen. Now, how big of a move? I don't know for sure, right? Let's see. Closure coming in a few minutes here. This is the hour. Let's see how this closes, right? It could end up pulling back up further, maybe even all the way up towards resistance, but maybe not that far. But if we do see a pullback and a solid rejection and it starts to come back down, that's probably a selling opportunity for me if if I'm liking it at that point. I could target down probably like here at some support. It's not really that biggest setup here, so it's not actually something I would be really looking to trade here. I mean, this is a bigger setup altogether, so I could really target some lower support, but I don't think I'd be ready for that big of an entry here. I'd probably want to wait for a lower breakout. I mean, that's not to say, like, I do think it can make a nice move. Even if it doesn't make that big move, I can still target that level and close out early in some profit, but I'm not really going to be planning my trade around the idea of closing out early, because if I'm planning on closing out early like that, then that might as well just be my target, right? And that target's not worthwhile to me. So moving forward, but pretty much generally looking for some sells here. If it does give us a nice pullback, that would increase the chances that I would trade this setup. It would just make it a little bit larger, and not only would that be some clean confirmation, but I do think it would be a bit more of a sizable trade, which would justify me entering it a little bit more. So that's that. GBP/USD I haven't spent too much time on. I really think I just marked up, yeah, pretty much was looking for buys above and sells below. We had it ranging over here a little bit. It did give us a break above over here, but came right back into the range here. So that, brief buying opportunity is no longer valid. If I would have actually been looking for that actively, wouldn't have made a big move, but could have got in and out with some profit, possibly, depending on the timing, right? But at the moment, yeah, it's stuck in the range here, so I'm going to stick with my buys above and sells below. I'm just going to keep it simple. I don't think that's going to be happening tonight. I'm not going to be trading that tonight, so yeah, we don't really have too much more that I need to get into on this one. How's GJ going? Have I not done GJ? Let me take a quick look. GJ, if you were here when I broke down a couple of the other JPY pairs, I said how they were kind of looking relatively the same. GJ is looking just like those ones pretty much, right? We get the big breakout, solid pullback, and it has made its little moves coming on down since the pullback, but hasn't really given us that more significant drop that I would be targeting. So that's what I'd be looking for here. Ideally, I mean, doesn't really matter, actually, in my opinion. It's going to do what it's going to do. So I guess I would just have to take advantage of what I can when I see it. But what I'd probably be patient for here would be a possible pullback up, testing some resistance a bit higher. We could end up seeing that. Wouldn't be looking for a buy there, but I'd be trying to wait it out for a possible sell. If it gives us that, I could look for that sell. Can also look for sells probably a little bit lower. Let's say it does start to reject here and make this move coming down. That could open up an opportunity. It's a little bit riskier, so a higher chance I don't take that. But I also could look for a lower entry, targeting some lower support as well. So there will be some opportunities like that if it does play out that way. But I think I'm going to be patient with this one. It's not my favorite JPY pair right now, so probably wouldn't end up trading this one anyways, specifically. Sorry, J's update. Yeah, so that was GJ. Over here, UJ. Doing the same thing it was when I broke it down a few minutes ago. Not much has changed. We actually do have this closure in 20 seconds here, so I mean, that'll do its thing. It doesn't look great in terms of, well, let me put it in proper perspective. Like, in the sense of it not looking great, that's in the sense that I'm already in an existing trade, just not on the live challenge account. So obviously I want to see it coming down because I'm going to sell, but I do think we can see it pull back up and then make this sell. So that's what I'm going to try and wait on before looking for this entry. Now, obviously, if it does start to fall, that could lead to a lower entry, which I'm not opposed to. That'd be good for my other trade. And it doesn't really make a difference for a new trade. I'd be happy to look for the trade a little bit lower or a little bit higher. It's just going to, it's going to do what it's going to do, and I'll stick to that, right? I'm going to be patient because I do think we can see that pullback up higher. I'm going to say that's probably pretty likely. So let's see what happens with that. That doesn't really impact my running trade. I mean, it impacts it, but it's not going to like harm it unless it were to really just make a big move. But a little bit of a pullback, more so testing up in this zone of resistance, is completely cool for the existing trade and for a possible new entry. So that's UJ. I'm liking it. I would say it's probably still one of my better opportunities for a possible trade today. Not now. It would have to develop the way I'm looking for it to, but that's not something that would, I mean, it could take a long, obviously anything can happen, right? When I say anything in trading, right? But that's the kind of setup where I don't expect it to take too long, right? Whereas something like, I don't know, what was it? No, not USD CAD. I don't know. Maybe tonight's not even the best example of it, but there are going to be setups where, I can mark up whether or what I'm looking for the buy or the sell, but those are setups that I don't, here, GBP USD, right? Here, the possible breakout buy coming up and the possible breakout sell coming below. Those are possible buys and sells that I'd look for, but they're not something I'm expecting really to play out too quickly, most likely not today, right? So that's one that I'm not as focused on. UJ, on the other hand, is kind of the opposite, where I don't think would take quite very long to give us the setup we're looking for if it's going to do that, right? Obviously, if it's going to just skyrocket to the moon, then it's not going to make that move for us. But the setup that I'm looking for, this little pullback for a possible sell, shouldn't take too long if that's what's going to happen. And on the other hand, if it doesn't even pull back more, maybe it is just going to reject here at this lower resistance here and carry on down. And in that case, then that shouldn't take long at all. I mean, we just got an hour closure. What I'd probably want to see would be the next hour closure. If we can get a solid 4-hour candle closure, I think that would be pretty good. Looking at the 4-hour here. Sorry, chat. My voice is kind of getting a little bit worse as the stream goes on. But, yeah, my voice is terrible. Chat, let me know if you guys, stop being able to understand me because my voice is, raspy and getting deep and, yeah. Here, I'm on the 4-hour right now, chat, taking a look. Setup still looks, pretty much the same. It's doing pretty much what I would want to see here. Now, we don't have enough confirmation or closure here for me to really be wanting to hop in an additional entry. yeah, I don't have enough confirmation for an entry here because it obviously could carry on up from here, whether it's for that little pullback that I'm looking for, or even higher. That's not what I meant to click. So yeah, I wouldn't be ready to jump in too quickly here, but I definitely think an entry opportunity tonight is possible here. So keep my eyes on it, and I'll probably stick around UJ for the next little bit because I like it. I'm already in one, and I think we could see this start to make this move. What do you guys think, chat? You like the setup? You like UJ? Cool, cool, cool. Looking good, chat. I'm gonna adjust this. All right. Not hopping in a trade yet, chat. I'm just breaking these out to get an idea of what we're kind of looking at risk reward wise, and all that. All right. It's actually a solid risk reward setup here. All right. This is a tight stop loss. I'm not placing it here, at least yet. If it were to break down lower and I were to catch a lower entry, then maybe. But for now, while it's like right pushing up against this resistance on the lower end of this zone, and it totally could, and I'm not expecting it to pull back further. Meaning like we do have this higher end of this zone of resistance, and I definitely am keeping the possibility open for it to pull back and retest that once again. All right. It might not. I'd be happy to see it just carry on down for my existing trade and for another entry here, but it also could pull back and test that again. So I'm going to try and wait that out, right? Not that it'd be the end of the world if I got caught in that, but I'd rather avoid it if I can, right? Obviously. Right now I'm at a 0.05 lot. It's not finalized, but that's just where I have it to kind of get an idea. With where my stop loss would be right now, this would be about a 40 pip stop loss. About just 2.9% risk, just under 3%, for a possible just under 23%. Solid, it's not the craziest, but it's definitely not bad. This is also a little wide, like I could possibly get away with the tighter stop loss, especially if it is going to start to kind of give us that breakout. And if it does pull back, then, you know, I can look for the entry after it breaks back down with a similar stop loss, or I might even look for a higher entry with a bit higher of a stop loss, right? It depends, but tons of different ways this can go and play out and set up for us. So I try and be patient and kind of let it do what it's going to do. And yeah, I just make the best judgment I can. Ooh. Chad, if you guys have any other pairs or anything, feel free to let me know. For now, I've landed on UJ. Like the setup. I'm open to some other setups as well, but I think those will take a little bit more time to develop. This could, but right now it's probably my closest opportunity for a trade, and I have been keeping an eye on this setup and liking it. So I'm definitely not opposed to continuing to keep an eye on it and see if I can catch another entry. But if you guys have anything else that you're looking at, feel free to let me know. A little bit of patience here, a little bit of patience. We're looking good. Yeah, we got 4-hour closure coming up next. 49 minutes about until we get that closure. Gonna probably want to wait on that. And yeah, I mean, we could be getting close to an entry after that, or maybe it drags on, right? I can't predict the future, right? Things happen, it might not get ready. I can't set a timeline on when I get an entry opportunity. I can kind of get a rough idea, but you know, things change and that could be incorrect. So who knows how long this takes to set up. I would say it should be sooner than later, but you know, anything realistically is possible. It could pull back, take 2 days, right? Or it could just in the next hour make a giant move, right? We got to be patient. We know what we're looking for here, and that's what we're trading, nothing else, right? We identify the setup and we look to execute that. That's really it. I'm not trying to really improvise too much, at least when it comes to my entry, right? How I manage the trade. Yes, I have a final target. Doesn't mean I have to hold on to that trade until it hits that, and I can't close out and secure profit, right? It's not how I play it. I am definitely okay securing profit. Things do develop, and maybe a setup's not ready to play out that far. So if I can identify that, I'll definitely try and secure the profit, but I'll also try and let it run as much as possible. So really, you got to just do the best you can and adapt to, you know, your experience. All right. I mean, yeah, chat, this is the setup for tonight. This is really what I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. I will also be keeping an eye on USD CAD and Euro USD. I've been liking, but it's not really giving me too much right now. So I'll pick it back up tomorrow and we'll see how that one's looking. Tonight, USD CAD is possible, sets up for me, but I think, well, with that one, with this one here, I feel like I have a better idea that it could be sooner than later if it's going to set up. Like this kind of move doesn't typically take too long. With USD CAD, it's more so just making kind of a steady pullback, which is clean, but you know, I don't really have a way to identify when that's going to stop. We have to kind of wait and see it reject, and then it can start to set up for a sell for me, right? I got to wait and react to what happens, not try and just blindly predict it, right? It's pulling back clean. That's what we're looking for over there. Now we want to see when it hits that rejection, add some resistance, and then I can look for a sell, right? Same thing here pretty much, right? Here we do have some solid rejections at resistance here, but I would say resistance is pretty strong and it does continue up a little bit higher. So I would be pretty comfortable letting this pull back a little bit more and then looking for the sell, like I've said. So that's what I'll be doing. If it does start to break, I'm not going to be impulse entering too quickly because a red candle coming down to here doesn't indicate, an actual sell move here for me, right? It's a good start for sure, but that I would try not to impulse enter off of that too quickly. Look at these red candles, right? If anyone impulse entered during this candle, not that someone necessarily would, but I don't know. I feel like there definitely are people who would be doing that. That wouldn't have ended too good, right? So, yeah, I get faked out from time to time for sure, but that's not really what I mean by it, right? Like that's that's more of a riskier attempt you're trying to take when you're trying to catch a big mover like that, right? For me, if I'm getting faked out, it'd be something like this, right? Where it's really starting to show some strong rejections. Not that this is necessarily that strong, but you get the idea, right? It's taking its time, it's rejecting here, starting to make a move, and then it pulls back a little bit more, right? So that's a little bit of a fake out. Didn't reverse or anything like crazy. It's still kind of up here at resistance, but you know what I mean. So yeah, we're going to try and avoid a fake out here. We're going to let it see if it'll pull back. Otherwise, possible sells coming soon, a little bit lower. All right. Chat, I'll be back with you guys shortly. Let's see what happens here. And yeah, hopefully a potential entry.